shared a PPT yesterday. Can anybody share that?
Yes, I'm just sharing.
Good morning, sir. Good morning, Hemant sir. Uh,
The slides are visible to everyone.
yeah, it's visible to me, but okay.
Okay, then we.
So today's, I would rather say the discussion is about customer experience in difficult times, and I would like to say it from the retail perspective because I have been working in retail for the last 12 years. So I was more acquainted with our retail sector and retail field. So as you guys all know that this current phase, the whole economy is going through a very tough time, and specifically in retail, it has been a very tough time for all of us because this has been quite unpredictable and nobody has planned for it. So when we got cut in such a situation, the whole retail sector doesn't know how to react to it, how to tackle it, to be in specific. So before going deep into the topic, I would like to share some details about the retail sector, how the impact of retail sector in India, and how the market size. Can you go to the next slide? So the story so far in retail, the retail boom started in India in 2008. 2008, retail was quite an happening word. Like everybody wants to join the bandwagon in the retail bandwagon. You can see the future groups, the Bianis are there. Reliance was entering. Spencer's was a big name. And Nilgiris was there, and lot many new entrants were there. So retail, like everybody was expecting a lot from retail that retail is going to boom in the forthcoming years. So currently, it's about 15 million retailers, including small and big, modern, traditional. Everyone is present in India. 40 to 50 million Indians are employed in retail. 8% of the total employment is coming from retail. 10% of our GDP is contributed by the Indian retail sector. Retail sector. It is world's fifth largest destination for retail space. Like not only the Indians, also the other foreign big countries, big retailers are waiting to jump into in the Indian retail scenario. But due to this FDI constraints, they are still waiting. Market size about 950 million US dollars in 2018, which was expected to grow to 1.1 trillion dollars by 2020. It was expected way back in 17. This projected data was, I think, 17-18. Online retail sales was expected to grow 31% year on year to generate a revenue of 60 billion US dollars by 2020. And the revenue for the Indian retail was expected to from somewhere from 10,000 to 12,000 crores by 2020. So this was quite a rosy picture that retail is going to be a big thing. So everybody was so hopeful and so expected that retail is the next big thing. Can you go to the next slide? Can you just move to the next slide?
This one.
Yeah. No. I think before that there was another slide.
No, this one is the
I
story
have
about
uploaded
the retail. Then this one.
then the next one. So amid all this hype, no, go back to the previous one. Yes, thank. No, the previous one. Yeah.
This one. This next one actually. Okay.
Previous one, sir. Just
Yes, this
no,
one.
not this one. Slide number. Yeah, this one. Stay there.
Okay.
Oof. Sir, slide number 3.
This was slide number
Two.
1. This is the slide number
Two.
2. This is the slide number 3, sir.
Yes, this one. Stay here. Okay. So amid all this hype and all this positive buzz about retail and everything, all of a sudden there a thing came called COVID-19, which turned around the whole thing. So nobody was prepared. Like nobody's ever thought of getting into this kind of situation. So what happened in actually in retail when this pandemic hit India? What actually happened in the retail scenario? Physical stores were shut. You know, the lockdown started, government shutdowns and lockdowns, no retails, no malls are to be opened. Demand shifted from discretionary to essential items. So initially, what used to happen, people are very optimistic, very positive about the future of economy, their jobs, the security. Everybody was quite positive. But what happened? All of a sudden, the demand shifted from discretionary to essential items. Like nobody was willing to spend money on things which they think they are not necessary. So basic focus was on medical and your essential items, which are grocery. Cash flow strained. Actually, what happened in retail that your expenses, even though you are not getting revenue, the expenses keep on going. 85% of the retail expenses were almost fixed expenses, which is a big drawback in retail. So your cash flows has been strained. Your stores were not doing business, revenue is not coming, but there are certain charges, certain expenses which incurred and they were intact. One has to pay for that. 95% of non-food retail shops were closed with particularly no revenue. Non-food retailers, small retailers, because the major chunk of retailers in India are still the unorganized one. Layoff started. 25% of the manpower were expected to go. In fact, this has already been started. That because companies are started consolidating, so they are like trying to where they can cut them costs. So manpower becomes a big you know thing in cost. So manpower has been reduced, or they were asked to work on a less salary. So a lot of consolidations are still going on. So there was currently most of the retailers are earning or doing business what they used to do, 40% of what they used to do. I mean, in some cases, it is less than 40%. Food retailers, they have a positive side that because they deal in essential goods, so they have a positive side. Their earning, their revenue actually has far better than non-food retailers. 70% of retailers believe recovery will take more than 6 months, which is quite happening because the current, what do you say, the scenario or the economy is going through a fear psychosis. So nobody is certain what is going to happen. Nobody is sure how the economy is going to unfold. So this has become a big challenge for retail. Can you move to the next slide? So amid this scenario, the big question comes. So amid this scenario, the big question comes for the retailer, sir. Where is the customer? You know. So even after the lockdowns and shutdowns has been eased, government has now becoming relaxed in opening the norms, and the restriction has been removed in some cases. But now the big question before the retailers are, where is the customer? Because even if the malls are opened, even if the retailers, the standalone stores are opened, the economy is slowly opening up, but there are no customers. Like the footfall that they used to get previous year or pre-COVID, I would say the pre-COVID era, is what they are getting now is only 40%, 30% of that footfall. So that becomes a big problematic for retailers, because unless until you get footfalls, you're not going to get business. So the whole retail is moving around how much customers they are attracting to their store and how much business they are generating. So it's always about the footfall and conversion, which is now not happening. Can you move to the second next slide? Okay. So this is now this is a major concern. Like if you see why, if they ask you why the has anybody has any questions so far? Has anybody has any questions? Or should I move forward?
I think we should move forward because there's
Okay,
no
fine.
questions.
So now from customers' point of view, why the retailers, if the retailers are inquiring why the customers are not coming to my store or why the business is not happening, the thing that we used to get the footfalls or the revenue last year, why we are not getting. So there are some questions they have to look through, like why, what is going in the customer's mind, why the customers are not coming. The most vital thing is the customer, in the customer's mind is it safe to go out? Like this pandemic has created a kind of fear psychosis. uh, to some extent it is quite correct also, that moving out has become dangerous thing, whether we should move out or whether we should go to the mall or to the because the fear of contacting this virus is always there. This is a big fear, and when families, they don't want to move with their kids. Second, next big thing came is it necessary to buy? Like the customer has become very logical in his spending habits, and this has been observed. If you see the sales figures of last year and current years, this pattern is very much clear. Like if you see, uh, customers are not willing to spend on luxuries. They are more into in a saving mode, or they are more into saving in what is essential for them. Even in this case also, I would like to say that the trend in western wear, especially women's western wear, if you see what we were selling last year and what we were selling today, in the numbers there is a hell lot of degrowth. There is almost 60% degrowth in this category. Why? Because people are not willing to buy. Even in the case of selling price, if you see that average selling price, what who used to sell on an average last year, there is a 40% dip in that average selling price today. And another major concern is the unpredictability of the economy. Nobody knows how the economy is going to unfold. It is not only the retail, it is like you can say a ripple effect. If it's a chain effect, if one sector or one industry is not performing well or in a bad state, its effect in the has an effect has an impact on the entire economy. Like if IT sector is not doing well, if jobs are moving out, layoffs have started in IT sector, automobile sector, hotel industry, service industry. So the buying power, the purchasing power capacity of people has been decreased to a hell lot. So this is another question. And fourth, amid all this uncertainty, the surety of the job, especially with the private sector, people are not sure whether they can retain their jobs, how the economy is going to behave, how the particular industry is going to behave. Is nobody sure about it. So this whole thing, this whole economy and this whole mindset of the customer is under a kind of fear, under kind of some uncertainty. So this is a big challenge. Can you move to the next slide? So now the next thing the retailers has to be asking themselves, that how to get the customers back. Because unless until the customers are coming to your store or to your shop, No amount of marketing stunts, no advertising gimmicks, no product USP is going to work. So this is a major challenge that customers are not coming to store. Customers are not willing to go out. The numbers are not coming as expected. So how to get the customers back? So this is only the question that retailers are now pondering, and they have also taken steps to attract the customers back to the store to make the situation again normal. Can you move? So what is the strategy that they are applying now? Like what we have to do in this situation where everything seems very unpredictable, where everything is very uncertain. What should be the strategy, or what strategy they are actually following in retail? What what is their priority, and how they are going to tackle, or how they are going to move through this pandemic or this difficult situation? So the basic thing is now, the most important thing is to align your business to customer priority. What actually happened in the past, that first thing is Indian retail, it's a sector, it's still not an industry. Second thing is the retail is basically, even though I'm talking about modern retail, it is basically that much not customer centric. Like even though they have very high ideals and values, but the value that we're giving to the customer is not up to that mark. If you see, if you consider Indian retail scenario, the modern retail scenario, it is still in a very nascent stage. They have not grown up. They are growing, but I would still say that it is still in a nascent stage. So they have to do a lot. So their business so far is like, whoever comes to my store, they are going to buy, or whatever product I am offering, people are going to buy. So the customer centricity or delivering value to the customer is somewhere still lacking. But this particular scenario, this difficult situation, has made all the retailers to rethink about their strategy, about their value chain, about how they are going to be perceived by the customers, and how they can deliver value to the customer. So in this scenario, there was a research by the McKinsey team, and they have published a report which was very much, I would say, practical, and the best thing to do. What I found. Can you move to the next slide? Okay. So McKinsey has given a 4 point action plan, that how this retailer should plan their action. One thing is they have to reformulate their strategy, that we have to become more customer centric and we should give priority to the customer. So what should be that next action plan? So as McKinsey is divided into 4 parts. One is focus on care and concern, because at this present moment, care and safety becomes the priority for every retailer. People gave safety to priority, their first importance. So how they're going to move? First thing is reach out, but with support, not marketing. So we have seen a lot of marketing in the past in retail. So they have their brand ambassadors. They have went viral through social media, through online marketing, through every platform, but they haven't. They fail to reach out. So marketing is not the right way right now, that we are offering this or we are
Absolutely.
offering that. No, we have to show substantial care towards the concern of the customer. Make a priority of employees and community. So the retailers which were delivering value, or which were giving more priority to the community, to the employees, are the retailers which are going to thrive in future. And retailers which neglect this aspect, their future is, I would rather say, very uncertain. Stay true to your company purpose and values. Meet the customer where they are. Now this has become the big. Now this is what I would say, that the tactical plan of retailers now, that if the customers are not coming to you, you go and reach to the customers. Initially, what happened that we were asking the customers to come to us, but now what happened? The customer is not coming, so it has become a role reversal. Now the retailers are trying to reach to the customer. So it's like innovative digital models to help customers, whether they crisis safe, crisis from safely from home, expand home delivery option, consider contactless operations, then reimagine the post COVID-19 world. So this is a big challenge, another big challenge. This COVID, this next 6 months are you are trying to recover from this business, whatever you have lost so far from year on year or MTD wise. Now, with this particular strategy of reaching out to the customer, you can recover to some part. But what after this COVID-19 ends? Because the way of doing business has changed a lot. You cannot do the business what you used to do or in the traditional way. This is not the economy, the whole way of doing the business has gone to a totally different kind of shift. Building agile capabilities and fluid times for fluid times. So this is a big drawback for this fluid. As I said, till date the retail is in a very nascent stage, and nobody was prepared to meet such a challenge, such a that by this the challenge that was posed by this COVID-19. So this makes all the retailers to think that in future how they are going to meet this kind of challenges, because COVID-19 will go one day or other, it will go, but there is no guarantee that there is such challenges which not will not occur in the future. So they have to be very fluid, and they have to they build capabilities for themselves. Can you move to the next slide? Yes. So now if you see how the retailers, what the retailers are right now doing, what actually they are trying to do, how they want to reach to the customer, because customers are not coming to us. Because I have been there in this store, I have been there in the, I have been observing the past records and past data, that we are doing very poor on the side of footfall. People are not coming, and this is not the scenario of only one retail. This is throughout the country. Or I would rather say throughout the world, this situation is happening. That people are not coming. Why? Because safety. Everybody wants to avoid crowded places. Everybody wants to be safe. So now what the retailers are pitching, they're pitching for your safety is our priority. If you have if you have visited any mall, or if you have visited any retail store, you will find that everywhere everywhere there are signages, there are posters which highlights that what are the precautionary measures or what are the safety measures they are obtaining now. In this approach of retailers to make safety a priority, you will find their staffs are now much more giving importance to hygienic, this mask, social distancing, gloves. So this is all, this has been created to create a confidence in the customer, in the mind of the customer, that they are safe to purchase with us, they are safe to shop with us. So this safety concern has become the priority for all retailers. If they are neglecting this option, if they are not making it as a priority, then they will be out of the business sooner or later. Even in countries like China, they made it very sure that that last person who delivers the product at the doorstep should have cleared all the health standards what the Chinese government has prescribed. So if somebody is coming in China, if somebody is coming to deliver any product or service to your doorstep, he has to certify himself, or he has to provide the certificate that he is healthy and he is free from COVID-19. So this is the kind of minute detailing they are doing. So to win the customer's confidence back and to get into the business. Second thing they what has been started is the VSA, which is known as virtual sales assistants. So this virtual sales assistant, which these Indian retailers are currently obtaining, and it is very like what we can say. It's a type of video calling. So what they are doing, in fact, Tanishq did it in India. Tanishq made a very good business with this VSA approach, because you may be thinking that the period the lockdown period has lot of
Hello. 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 Mr.
hello.
Santosh.
Yeah, am I audible?
Now it's audible. Yes, now
Actually,
it's audible.
yeah, actually, I think the connection got lost in between.
Yes, yes. Please continue.
So so the VSA thing, that virtual sales assistants, which I say a new innovation during innovation and developed during this era of COVID-19. So what actually we this the retailers are doing, that they are calling their customers. They have the database. They are calling their customers, and as the customers are not willing to move out of their home, so they are calling their customers and they are asking whatever the customer data they have, and they are showing their products. They take appointment from the customers, like they are pitching their products that we have this things, or we have this offer for you, or we have this new season collection for you. So would you like to buy from us? to see. So, and if the customer agrees and if they gives appointment, so they usually display or they usually show the particular product through video calling or through WhatsApp calling or whatever you say. So, and the whole sale happens over video. The customer chooses the product, he pays through online media, through UPI or through any FT, and at the end, the retailer delivers the product. This may seem this way of doing business child. This actually this has helped retailers during this pandemic period when the lockdowns were going on in the last 6 months. In fact, they have done some huge use through VSA calling, which we are calling a residential welfare association. So what they're doing that this whole concept is to reaching to the customer. So we should go reach the customers and approach them. So when you experience value selling in Bhubaneswar or in their own locality?
Hello, Mr. Santosh.
Gets frequently disconnected. Am I audible now? Yeah.
Yes,
Hello?
yes, audible. Please.
Hello?
It's audible.
Hello?
It's audible. It's audible. We can hear you. Hello.
Hello.
Yes, now it's
Hello.
audible.
Sorry, there's very poor network issues. Connection is getting disconnected time and again. I'm sorry for that.
No issues. Please
So am I
continue.
audible now? No?
No issues.
Yeah.
Yes, yes, audible.
So I was yeah. So I was talking about this RW activities. Right now, this retailers are following this or what we call as a venue selling. Has anybody experienced this RW activities in their own area or in the city? Anybody? Okay, this RWA or venue setting is an activity where the retailers are moving to this residential areas or community centers and displaying their product and asking this the householders to come and shop with them. It is like you are going to an apartment or a residential complex. You have an arrangement with the apartment management that we are planning to bring our products or we are planning to bring our merchandise to your place so that your people don't need to go out to shop. So we are bringing our shop to you, and so that you can purchase in your own comfort and at your own time. So this has become a big hit actually right now. This RW activity or what we call the venue selling, every retailer starting from, if you see, from Bata to your pharma companies to Reliance to Pantaloons, Landmark, everybody is into it right now because this has given them a scope to connect to the customer to expand their customer base even in these areas which are not in their catchment. If you see even Bhubaneswar itself, you will find lot many these residential areas are now under the target of these retailers. So the benefit of this, that first thing is the customer doesn't need to go out. He or she is getting their product in their own time, comfortable time, or at their own residence. So that is one benefit. Second benefit is the retailers are getting, or they are able to expand their customers base. They are adding new customers in their data. So this is a big hit. This venue selling, nobody a year back, or forget about a year back, 6 months back, no retailer has ever thought that they are going to do this activity, that they are going to take their merchandise to the residential areas or to households and sell them at the doorstep. But it has this has become the norm today. Another thing came is a WhatsApp and Instagram. It was been there. WhatsApp and Instagram business was there, but retailers or big retailers were not following it. They were not much enthusiastic about this WhatsApp business or Instagram business. But is the necessity, as you say, the necessity is the mother of invention. So as the time, as the difficult times, requires some difficult decision or some radical things. So what they are doing, that particular of the retailer, he is consolidating his merchandise or his stock into WhatsApp in a yeah, and they are sending links via SMS to the customers. Whatever database they have, they are sending links to the customer that just go through our WhatsApp link, visit my store virtually, not physically. Visit my store. If the customer links to that particular, clicks to the particular link, the WhatsApp page is open, and in that WhatsApp pages, that particular store's all merchandise, the whole, I would say, the inventory of the store is visible. So what are the products they have? What is the range they have? What are the categories they have? What are the discounts they have? What are the offers they have? Everything is there. So the customers just need to select a product, okay, put it in its bucket list, or and so when he puts it in the bucket list, or when he chooses the product, a information or a link goes to that retailer that this particular customer wants to shop this one. So the retailer gets back to the customers that he has ordered for this a particular product or products. So the customer confirms, then the retailer asks for a payment through UPI or through NEFT or through any online platform. When the customer gets pays for that particular product, now the retailer is giving an assurance that this particular product will be delivered to that customer within the city limit within 4 hours. So the benefit is the customer is getting the product almost immediately. The customer doesn't need to go out. The customer the retailer is happy that they are getting online orders and able to spread their catchment. So this is another platform that the retailers are now experimenting. And the fourth one is the contactless shopping or the use of artificial intelligence. So far, none of the Indian retailers has obtained for this artificial intelligence, except I think the Indian wing of Decathlon, they have using it. So this is what retailers have started, that the customer should go for a contactless shopping. Like if you are entering a store, you don't need to even touch the product. They have their software which you can integrate in your mobile. So if and through your mobile you can see the nook and corner of that store and the product. And if you are specific about the product, or if you are choosing a product, or if you want to know about the product, every detail about the product reflects on your mobile. What is the product of which fabric the product is made up of, what is the size, what is the color options, even how it fits you. The software has a what do you say, has a program which measures your body size and your through the biometric sensors, and they can say that whether this particular size fits you or not, or whether you should go for in the next size. So everything is there. So even you don't need to contact, don't need to touch the product, don't need to ask any staff from there. You have to just go to the shop. If you're selecting the product, everything is flashed out in your mobile phone. So this is the benefit of artificial intelligence, that you can have a contactless shopping, which is of prime importance right now. So and one more thing, this return fashion on wheels or shop on wheels. So you may in the past you have seen these vehicles which were turned into mobile shops. They roam around the city and delivering specifically in food category. They roam around the city. They serve food. But now the retailers have started this. They have almost virtually made a van. They have turned a van into a shop, and they have displayed their product there. There was a cashier there. The shop roams around the cities, in the catchments, in residential areas. They stay there for a while. They do business, and the customer is coming. Then and there they build the product and they give it to the customer. So this is one more way of reaching to the customer. Another mode of reaching to the customer is, like, they have started a thing called appointment shopping. Like some retailers have started this very I would say, I would rather phrase this one, that if you want to if the customer is apprehensive about his safety, about during this COVID, so the retailers, he can fix his appointment with the retailer. They will send a link to that, if the customer says that I want to shop between this time frame, so suppose he says that I want to shop between 3 p.m. to 4 p.m. in this, so that particular time slot been booked for that particular customer. And they have a size that in during this time frame only 50 or 100 customers will be allowed to the store, so that there will be no crowd, no congestion inside the store, and the safety aspect of the customer will be taken care of. So this is another, I would say, very praiseworthy step taken by some retailers, that the customers can book his appointment with the customer when he wants to visit the store. So these are some of the tactical measures has been adopted by these retailers in India and even in the worldwide also, to reach to the customers, to give the customer a worry-free shopping experience, as well as also to maintain their business. Can you go to the next slide? Hello. Yeah. Now, what are the challenges? So this we have seen that what are the retailers, what are the problems are there, how the economy is reeling under pressure, or what the problems the retailers are facing, and how they are coming with some innovative ideas to to give the best shopping experience to the customer. Challenges that most important is the system. They are still running on a system which is around 15, 20, or maybe 30 years. So there are some retailers who are still following through a system which is very old. So this changing times needs some effective and upgraded system, which the current retailers are not having. That's why they are facing these problems. If you see the European nations or retailers outside, they have they have come out very successfully out of this pandemic. Even during this pandemic also, they were able to do some business amid this crisis also. But because the Indian retailers are not equipped with a good system, and because it is much more even though it's called modern retail, but the way they were making is more or less like traditional. So they were not prepared. So this is a big challenge, that to uh, to survive and to thrive in the future, from this point of time, they have to they have to inculcate an effective system which is fluid, which is effective and which can agile and which can be changed or which can be acquainted or acclimatized with the changing scenario. Second challenge for the retailers are the liquidity crunch, because in retail, as I said, that 85% your costs are fixed cost. So whatever the retailers are earning, mostly that goes into meeting the expenses, because the real estate cost in India for retailers are very high. Sometimes it becomes impossible for them to do business. So now the retailers are started negotiating on that, but still they are facing liquidity crunch. You can see that the case of Future Group. Why Future Group was you know this happened with Future Group? Why they were forced to sell themselves? Actually, this happened with Future Group way back in, I think, in 2012, when they sold Pantaloons to Aditya Birla, and they repeated the same thing: liquidity crunch. They go on to expand their business. They go on, taking money from the market, but the returns are not as expected, or some mechanisms went wrong in there with them, and they were heavily in debt. So Kishore Biani has no option but to sell. First, he sold Pantaloons, its flagship brand, in 2012. Then they sell the whole Future Group umbrella to Reliance. So this is because of liquidity crunch. Even today, also, if you see that retailers are not able to pay salaries to their employees, or not able to buy product, the new season merchandise for themselves, it is only because this liquidity crunch. So there is huge liquidity crunch in retail business, which the retailers has to think over. But this is, if they go on running the business like this, so if another difficult scenario comes, then it will be very difficult for them to survive. Another thing the retailers say that not so good private labels. The private labels or the retailers' own brands are not that good, or not at par with the national brands. Because if you see the retailers, the major revenue are from these private label brands. So I hope you all guys are clear about what a private label is. Hello? Hello?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, I just want to know whether you guys are clear what the private label is. Okay, somebody said yes, sir. Fine, fine. So, private label are the labels or the brands which is owned by the retailer, and they're exclusively sold by the retailer. So every retailer has their own private label. Pantaloon has its own private label. So the private labels are actually the revenue providers to the retailer. If you are selling an external brand, you are selling it to attract more footfall, more customers to your store. But the private labelers are the labels which actually give you revenue. So, but what happens in India, the quality of the private label brands are not up to the mark. It is not as per the customer expectations. So the amount of revenue they can generate from the private labels are not coming. So if they can sell more of the private labels, so there will be more revenue. And if the revenue is high, there will be more fluidity in the liquidity of the retailer to develop their private label brands. Fourth point is lack of qualified or well-trained manpower. Now, this is a big stumbling block from retailers. Somebody wants to have the slide in full page. Can you just, yeah. So another major challenge for the retailers are lack of qualified or well-trained manpower. As I said, that retail so far is managed very in a very unscientific way. It is just in India. It is just a better version of a or slightly improved version of traditional retail. But still, the quality of the manpower or the kind of manpower they are having in training, there is a there is a lot of way. There is a hell lot of way to go, because this manpower, what they are currently handling, is not able enough or trained enough or qualified enough to handle such crisis. Okay. And another challenge is this: if the retailers are laying off the manpower, their current manpower, so when the situation changes, when the COVID-19, when the economy comes out of this COVID-19 scenario, and when the when the businesses start to boom, then there will be a heavy crunch of qualified manpower. So at this point, the retailer has to think how to prepare their manpower for the future events and for the future challenges. At present, they are not properly prepared for it. Higher rentals. As I said, higher rentals, real estate costs were so high. In fact, the major chunk of the retailers' revenue goes into rentals. So currently, that becomes a very big issue for almost all the retailers, because they have been under shutdown, under business loss for last 6 months, and the rents are not decreasing. So somehow they have to pay the rents, and the rents are like so much that it is impossible for them to operate under such rental conditions. So now the retailers are negotiating with the malls and with the landlords that on rental, that there should be revenue sharing mode, or the rentals to decrease, or if they consolidating it, that okay, we don't need this much of space, so expecting the future business now, that they may not be having that much of business, they are consolidating the space areas. So this is another challenge for higher rentals. In fact, this is the rental is one of the issues why the Future Group has forced to sell Pantaloons in 2012. Lack of state of the art technology. Okay, so this pandemic has raised a question that where we were standing in terms of technology, because this pandemic has given a chance to online retailers to boom their business. In fact, you have seen that the online business has got a visible growth, especially in food and grocery during this pandemic, only because of the technology. Retailers like Amazon, they have started doing good business during this period, but other retailers which are not which don't have a online presence, or who has a very uh, not so effective e-commerce presence, they have suffered a lot. So this is what I said, this VSA, this WhatsApp business, they, even though they have started it, but it is not the technology is not up to that mark that it can cater to a large customer base, or it can cater to a huge demand. So on this point, the retailers has to work a lot and improve a lot. And and the last point which I want to highlight is the overall economic health of the country and the world at large. So even if you are doing good, even if you have built capacity, even if you have built your own manpower, trained them, groomed them, but if the overall economy of the country is not changing, or if major sectors like automobile, IT, pharmaceutical, these sectors or these things were not improving, then obviously the retailers will get a direct hit on it. So these are some of the challenges which the retailers is to think, to ponder over, and to prepare their future strategies to how to tackle the challenges. Can we go to the next slide? Hello. 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 Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, am I audible?
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
please.
So, in conclusion, can you play the last slide? Yeah, the last one. Yes. So, in conclusion, I can say that what is there that has to do? So, there has been a lot of news. You may be reading that the days of brick and mortar store is over. Now, the online business is going to take over brick and mortar. That's true. So, the online retail is booming, but to say that the brick and mortar format or the physical format of retailing is going to evaporate or going to vanish, I don't believe in that, because there are certain things, there are certain experiences what the brick and mortar can provide, the online retailers cannot provide. So the online retailers have their own set of advantage. The yeah, brick and mortar has its own set of advantages. So I believe that in future they will work in parallel. Like they will both exist side by side. It's not that, and they will be complementary to each other. Yeah. So they will be more complementary to each other rather than contradictory. And the retailers now has to think about the future plans, like the way they have been. Hello, am I audible?
Yes, yes, audible.
Uh, so they have to now this is actually a wake up call for all the retailers. This pandemic has given an insight to every retailers the way, how they are falling, how they are far away from the customers, and a slightest difficulty can change the course of the whole business. So this is a wake up call for all the retailers to build fluidity, to build agility to their system, and to make their business, to their whole entire system so effective and so capable that they can tackle the challenges of the future or any such uncertainty. So there is a long way to go with for all the retailers, and slowly I think they have realized it and they have started working on it. I can see how the things are unfolding for the retailers and how they're trying to build their capacity. So I hope in future we can see the way of doing business. The way the retailers are started doing business will change, and there are certain new norms will come out. So, preparing for the worst, the retailer should be starting to think, imagining the worst, or thinking what worst can happen. The retailer should start to prepare themselves from now, so that only the survival, as they say, the survival of the fittest retail organization is going to survive, and that retailer who has the most acceptability from that customer is going to be there. So I will be ending my session here. If you have any questions, please ask. I will try to answer them.
There's a question in the chat box. Ansuman is asking,
Yeah.
how impactful can this technique be
Uh,
in local areas of Odisha?
and how
And
can
how
we
can we
generate?
generate and control the crowd for the same? Anshuman, can
Yes.
you little bit clear about which technique you're asking?
He's asking, I think, about the venue sale.
when you sell.
Yeah, Anshuman? Oh, sir, I think he has left. Sir, please convey my question where Sir joins. Okay, I think he has left. So
So
I
he's
think he's
there.
asked.
Anshuman, which technique you're asking about?
Good morning, sir. Good afternoon, sir.
Good
Good
afternoon.
afternoon, Anshuman.
Sir, I was asking about previously you said that to show the products in your store by video calls and all to the customers and to grow the customers.
Mhm.
I was talking about that how impactful can this technique of showing products in your stores by video calls be impactful in local areas of Odisha? And how can we generate and control the crowd for the same?
See, for video calling, we don't need to control and generate and control the crowd. So what happens in video calling that we call the customer, whatever whoever customer are there in the database in our database or even for any retailer's database, they call the customer. Okay. So if the customer, see, every retailer has a set of loyal customers, customers who are their frequent shoppers. So they actually categorize, they filter the customers that these are the big customers, or they have done big shoppings with us, or the frequency of shopping with us is high in the past. So they choose the customers, they call them that we are providing this service, and we have launched a new season product, or we have this particular offer with us, with we have a particular range or new collection with us. So if you like to see, then they fix us an appointment, and in that appointment time they source the product to the customer, and if the customer is happy with the product, if or he or she wants to get that product, then they have to pay for it, and the retailer delivers the product. Now your question is how you are going to control and what is the impact in Odisha? Am I right?
Yes, sir.
So the see, I would rather say these things are not. These are temporary solutions because the current pandemic has forced the retailers to come out of some innovative or some out of the box kind of things which will help them to sustain. Okay, so I won't say this particular form of video calling and doing business is going to happen in the long run. It may happen and it will happen, but in a totally different way, or I would rather say in a totally advanced way. So right now, as I said, the retailers are not having that advanced technology. So whatever technology or whatever resources they are having, so they are doing it. So video calling, it's just like you video chat with your friends. You call your friend over a video and you chat with them, or you talk with them, or you make a conference call. It is more or less same like that. Only the thing is, we call the customer, we take an appointment, and we show the product, we show the range, we show everything to them, and the customer is happy. He pays for it, and we deliver it. Now, how impactful? It is very impactful because in this pandemic, see, the demand is there, the customer desire to buy product is there, but it was under apprehension. But if you are presenting your product to them, if you are showing them, then there is a chance, there is a probability, I would say there is a probability of 30-40. In fact, we did a very good business through this mode. Okay, I cannot share you the numbers due to confidential issues, but we did a very good. There were at sometimes we were able to sold uh, watches, sunglasses, merchandise value of over 50K also. So it's sometimes it's more than 50. In a single bill, we were able to sell more than 50,000 rupees. So this has an impact, and this has made certain retailers able to thrive or able to survive through this difficult times. In fact, Tanishq and other retailers, especially in jewelry retailers, they have done a very good business. Any other question? I hope I cleared your. I have given a satisfactory answer to your question, Anshuman.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Sir,
Or
I
you
have
think?
another question.
Sure, sir.
Please.
Sir, there are many startups nowadays for these delivery programs and all, and showing these
Mhm.
videos and the appointment, as you said. So,
Mhm.
how innovative can a retailer or a startup or an entrepreneur can be
Mhm.
in this situation, because there is a lot more of competitive market nowadays, and
Mhm.
many of the youngsters and many of different people are starting up with these delivery programs and all. So,
Mhm.
what are the, I mean, what are the approximate things or any, how innovative can a person be to survive in this competitive market, in this situation?
See, your question is how innovative. See, there is no end to innovation. Okay, you can be as innovative as possible, provided your innovation has suitability or adaptability in the market, or your innovation has a feasibility. Uh, in the name of innovation, we cannot give service free of cost. I would say that will be foolish. But what innovations are coming or what startups are coming, in fact, I would say that startups or small retailers has a higher chances of success rather than the big retailers. Why? Because big retailers are like, elephants. They are huge in size, but their flexibility or their agility is very less. To change a small thing, they have to change the entire system, so it takes a huge time and huge resources are invested. But in case of startups or as you mentioned, others new retailers, they are fluid. They can change their approach, they can change their tactics as and when demanded, because they are that flexible. And with respect to innovation, innovation has no, as I said, innovation has no end. They have come up with new ideas of doing business. No, as I said, nobody ever thought 6 months back. No retailer has ever thought that they will go to some this community hall centers or some residential areas to sell their products. But now they are doing it. They have find out this is the one of the feasible ways of doing business. So they are doing it. This WhatsApp mode of calling 6 7 months back, nobody ever thought. They were more focused on sales figures, their own KPIs, marketing activities, driving more customers to their store. But it's now been changed. So innovation in itself has no end. But the only thing is your feasibility, how your whether your innovation has a feasibility, economic, I would say economic profitable feasibility is there or not, and whether it is being accepted by the customer or not, or your targeted customer base or not.
Thank you, sir.
I i hope I'm clear on this.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Any other
Any
question?
questions from our participants?
I would like to take more questions, because I'm not as fluent as your professors are while delivering some lecture.
Indeed. Okay. Uh,
So
any questions from our participants? Please ask few questions.
I
Ansuman,
hope.
you have any question?
Sorry, sir.
You have any question?
Uh, Sir, not now, sir. Sir explained very well, so everything is cleared.
Okay.
A question doesn't come only in two cases. Either I have explained very well, or my explanation was very pathetic.
The first option is right.
My dear friend, I belong to ASBM. So I have been under this studentship. So any questions from any other? So anybody has visited these malls and stores after this lockdowns are up?
Also.
Nobody has visited. Why?
Okay, so I think we will
I think
conclude
no
this.
questions.
No questions further. So coming to the last of the session, thank you very much for explaining all the important points in detail, the current scenario, the challenges and the strategies taken to overcome the current situation of the retail, the retailers are facing. It was quite informative as you have more than 12 years of experience in retail. So experience matters. So on behalf of ASB family, university, we convey our gratitude for being with us for the beautiful session. Thank you very much. Have a good day, sir.
Uh,
Thank you
Thank
all
you
the
very much.
participants.
I want to thank all the participants and my professors for their patience and to patiently hearing me. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Have a good day, guys.
Have a good day, sir. Thank you so much.